Our next Queen Pin speaker is Kath Perry. Kath has lived many lives. She's started out life as a physio, then managing a chain of physios, owning a retail store, and now is partner in Perry Morrison, where she helps other entrepreneurs grow their business and help with some of their problems. Kath has a delightful sense of humor, a wonderful soul, and I know that she is going to have some great messages today about failure and reinvention.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a really hard act to follow. But anyway, I'll try. Well, I was trying to think of what I was doing when I was 14. Really not testing things in Pakistan and Kenya. Probably couldn't even. Okay, yeah, true. That's keep the heckling to a minimum there, lady. Thanks. So I wanted to talk to you today. Actually, I kind of wanted to talk to you, but Wendy really just sort of roped me in by inviting me over to her house on a Friday afternoon and giving me lots of wine and saying, look, we're going to do this thing, and you're really excited, and why don't you join the committee, and you should be a speaker. I'm like, excellent, totally, sign me up. Then I sort of geeked out for a bit, but then I got back on. But anyway, I do think it's actually a really important message. So I wanted to talk to you about failure and reinvention, something I have had a lot of in the last couple of years. Lots of fun, lots of stress, lots of excitement. This actually came from my wonderful friend Erin in the front, here, Erin Casey, the heckler. We were at a Startup Canada event, who, by the way, has her own business. She's a fantastic writer and editor. So if you need those kind of services for your business, she is the woman, and she did some wonderful volunteer work helping us with the press release for this event, so thank you. We were at a Startup Canada event and had some really amazing speakers from some great, business people who have these amazing successes. So we all look at these people and we think, oh gosh, they're so great, and I'm sure everything was perfectly smooth along their road and everything was fantastic. You see anyone that's done anything in their life when you're old, that's not the case. There's just a lot of backstories. But Erin said, people talk about failure and they say, oh yeah, we've had lots of failures, but no one really talks about the details. No one really tells the story and what the actual lessons were. So I thought to myself, I gotta be that girl. I'm gonna talk about it. It's not about blaming. If anything, it's about what, your own self-management, self-responsibility. What did I do to contribute to this? What could I have done better? Of course, there's always sort of collective reasons and collective balances and energies and that sort of thing, but let's talk about it. Let's get real. So, I'm sure you've all heard of a little store called Mills. Yeah. So I was one of those girls in the fall of 2012 when the business was up for sale. I'd been living away for a really long time. It was time to come home. That said, oh, sure, I'll buy that. How hard could this be? Yeah, well, it was. As it turned out. Retail's really difficult. Although, you know what, everyone says that about retail, but tell me a business that just goes along really easily. You don't have to do any work and you just make money in your sleep. There's none. So retail's hard, but not that much harder than anything else. So we came together, the four of us. Some of us had known each other for a really long time. Some of us had sort of just recently met. We had great resumes, lots of success. We looked like the dream team on paper. We had the skill set in HR, we had operation management, we had 3 MBAs between us, so that tells you how much that's worth. Don't get your MBA. I'm just kidding. No, that's not true. Don't tell Queens I said that. My $94,000 was totally worth it. Yeah, anyway, it was. It actually was where I got the spark and actually the courage and the idea that I could actually be an entrepreneur, that I didn't have to work in the corporate world my whole life. So I definitely give them huge credit. Although they send me the surveys now to prove how much greater your salary is after you do it. And I'm like, you really don't want me filling this out right now? Skew you way down. Send it to me in 5 years. It'll be great. So here we were, this team. We took on this, we did a really brave thing. And we really tried to reinvent an iconic brand. We were really passionate about saving it, about bringing it forward, rebranded, moved it to a new location. The whole deal. It was a hell of a lot of work and a lot of money. And through it all, I'm so grateful for it. I met my husband, which is fantastic. He's an accountant, married accountant. They're very useful. I should have done that the first time, but anyway, whatever. Got that one sorted out finally. Yeah. Anyway, so we really did our best. But as you all know, probably from the papers and stuff, it didn't work. A couple of us exited a little bit early. Two of the girls were really committed to taking it forward, and it didn't continue. Kind of failed in probably the worst way that a business can fail. Which really it's hard when you've been a responsible person and you've lived up to all of your all the things that you said you were going to do and all the people that you said you're going to do it for, and all of a sudden you don't. It really hurts. It feels really bad. The good news is I think everything closed well. The people that were working there were taken care of, and I think it ended quite well. We're all pretty much still friends. But with the team, what I learned for that failure particularly was that we weren't the team that could come together, the four of us, and make the really tough, game-changing decisions we had to make to change that business. We went too big, we did too many things, we should have changed direction, and we had the time to do it. We had the information to do it, and we just couldn't come together at the same table and agree and move it forward. Again, it was nobody's fault. It was about the dynamic that we had as a group, and it was just not functioning in the way that we needed to. So what I felt about that was I really wanted to make sure that I didn't lose any friends over this. It was my decision when I went into it and things started getting bad, the writing was on the wall. I don't ever want to live my life that if I'm walking down the street and I see someone coming towards me, I'm like, oh, I really don't want to see that person. I'm going to duck behind in this alleyway. So I just decided, you know what? We're all just going to go through this. There's going to be some really hurt feelings, and there's going to be some, crazy things that go down, but I'm just going to go forward. I'm going to decide to really conduct myself well. And frankly, we all did that, and I'm really proud that we did that. One of the things my dad said to me a few years ago when I was having a really tough time in a corporate job was, it's more important how you conduct yourself on the way down than how you conduct yourself on the way up. And those words really resonated with me as this whole thing was kind of imploding and going the way that it went. My learning from this is that you need a really long courtship when you're deciding to get into business with people. The tough thing is you want to be entrepreneurial, you want to be energetic. No one would ever do anything if everything was obviously completely organized and set up and going the right way right from the start. So you do have to take some risks and you have to jump in at some point. But really, because you have relationships, because you know each other, sometimes even because you work together, doesn't mean that you're going to function as a team when the going gets really tough and the big decisions have to be made. So do your best to have those conversations. Like, go to the worst. Figure out what the worst case scenario would be and really try to discuss through how you're going to deal with that. And if you agree, stick to what you've agreed to. So that's what I would say my huge lesson there was. But the great news is the reinvention comes from that. My personal reinvention from that was just meeting so many amazing people, the kind of things that we were able to do. Oh God, I thought it was going to be 2 minutes. The kinds of things I was able to do in the community for the community were just amazing. The connections that I made, the friends that I made. We have a couple people that were in the store have started their own store, so I don't know if you noticed the beautiful Be Gorgeous logo. That's Tim McPhee, who was the beauty department manager at the store, has started his own business. And I've been able to actually help some of the great things that I learned, some friends that have started businesses. It's amazing when you go through these things. All of a sudden, these things just sort of fly out of your mouth. I'm like, wow, I knew that? That's really cool. I guess I did learn something from all that. So you got to look at all the good things that you learn. Which brings me to the reinvention piece. So now my main focus, my main work is in recruitment. I work with a small recruitment agency called Gold Recruitment. So I work with a lot of people that are in the middle of starting or maybe don't even quite know it's coming soon, a reinvention in their lives. And that's one of my favorite things to do, to be honest, is just meet with people that are starting. Maybe they just sort of finished up their last job, by choice or not. It's always a great thing. And they want to talk about what they want to do next. So what I would say about reinvention, if any of you guys are there, you're thinking about something new, be prepared for it to take a long time. It's like a house renovation. It's not going to happen quickly. And it's probably going to cost more than you think. So if you're going into it, have a war chest, do some savings, simplify your life. Because what you want to do is you want to spend the time finding the right next thing. When I meet with candidates, when I meet younger people, I think we all were quite focused I want that job. When I was became a physiotherapist, I mean, that's a pretty direct path. I'm going to go to this school and I'm going to do this, I'm going to study, I'm going to get this job. That's great at that age, but when you're at this sort of reinvention time later in life, it's better actually to take your time, keep your head up, look around, rather than being too focused, because you're probably going to miss a lot of really great things that present themselves to you if you're really sort of laser focused on what you're doing. I also tell people, try not to focus on the exact job you want in which company or your own business or what kind of business, but think about how you want to feel. How do you want to feel when you go to work every day? Whether going to work every day is like me, crawling up the stairs and snuggling on the couch with my dogs and working away on my laptop. How do you want the relationships, your interaction with not only your clients, but the people that you're working with? Try to focus on the feel, have lots of conversations with people, look around, look up, and all the right things are going to start coming to you. So that's what I do. That's me. Here we are.
And now is the time you get to ask questions. I see one in the back. Kendra?
Kath, when people are reinventing themselves, we always talk a lot about finding your passion. Do you recommend that they look in that direction, in that kind of lane of things, so things that they're passionate about when they're in their reinvention phase?
Thank you for that very intelligent question, Kendra, which I sent you via email last night in case there were crickets in the air. Nothing staged about this presentation. No, I actually did want to speak to this because a lot of people do ask about that. And in fact, my answer is probably surprising. I think it just really depends, because you can actually ruin your passion by making work out of it. So be careful. I mean, it's great that whatever you're doing, you are, of course, passionate about and you're really interested in. But I don't think that you are obliged to make a job out of your passion. In fact, it's not always the right thing. So keep it separate if that feels right. I'm actually really good at things that I don't particularly like. I'm really, really good at dealing with difficult situations and difficult people. I'm always the girl that puts her hand up for the hardest thing. And it's not like I'm thinking, oh, good, I get to go fire someone tomorrow. This is going to be awesome. I don't like it, but I'm good at it. So I tend to gravitate to those things. And I feel that if you have a skill, that's actually helpful, because when you are dealing with people, if you can deal for difficult things, if you can deal with them really from your heart, be really caring, really supportive, that the whole situation goes a lot easier, so a lot better. So that's a perfect example. So yeah, not necessarily. Anything else from anyone? No? Good. You're excited about Eleanor coming up. I don't blame you. I am too. Well, if anybody wants to talk about it, I have lots of cards, and I'm happy to sort of chat and have some coffee with anyone that wants to talk about their lives. I'm just nosy mostly. Thank you.